Interesting that we should be talking about migration and immigration because, Greg, you know, that's been the big story, hasn't it? I mean, it's hard to believe Donald Trump's been in a week. I mean, I was just talking to Alicia there. I was like, we're just going to have a look at, you know, Donald Trump's first week. Seems like he's been in for ages. He's only been here for like 7 days.
8 days. I mean, he's really hit the ground running. It's fantastic to
totally.
see.
And the business with Colombia was classic Trump, wasn't it? You know, suddenly, you know, it was Sunday afternoon, you see this flashing story comes up, Colombia president refusing to take migrants who are being sent back by Donald Trump, turning the planes around. I thought Trump was going to declare war on him, you know, but in fact he just went, nah, we'll say what, we'll just put a load of tariffs on you and we'll take away some of your financial aid, and suddenly within, what, 45 minutes?
30 minutes from start to finish. He's on a golf course. He pulls the nuclear option calmly. And just said, you know, 25%, you know, tariffs going up to 50, travel ban on all you idiots, sanctions, enhanced inspections at the border, and international banking sanctions. So, you know, 30 minutes later, the guy's kissing his ring. It's beautiful.
And sending his own plane to say, actually, I'll bring some more of these characters out, who are all, by the way, criminals.
Absolutely.
Right? These are not, you know, innocent Colombians.
And what he said, the socialist that he is Trump can't treat Colombian migrants as criminals. Well, actually, he can, because they're criminals.
Because they are criminals. But, of course, not everybody agrees with the policy. We're going to play a little clip here from an actress by the name of Selena Gomez, who's not happy.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Yeah, I could give you a couple of ideas of what to do. You know, like, don't film yourself crying about criminals being deported from the country you live in.
Mary Ellen saw it on Instagram this morning and played it 3 times. She was laughing all morning.
I know.
It was a great way to wake up.
It's just ridiculous. Typical Hollywood reaction. Let's have a look at Tom Homan, though, who's in charge of immigration, and his response to it.
The Hollywood celebrity who posted it has now deleted it, I think because probably she faced a lot of backlash for it, noting even the New York Times and Fox News polls show that a majority of American respondents are in favor of deportations of criminals and gang members. She posted a video sobbing. She was crying in it. She said, all my people are getting attacked, with the picture of a Mexican flag. Again, she has now taken that down. But what do you say to those who are out there saying that these are everyday people, these are families that are being attacked and dragged out of their homes? How do you respond to that?
I don't think we arrested any families. We've arrested public safety threats and national security threats, bottom line. And look, President Trump won the election on this one issue, securing our border and saving lives.
And he's right, because these are basically criminals that are being deported. 750,000, I think, was the number that was given by Donald Trump on Inauguration Day. So he's got plenty more to do.
And that's a big number. I'm not sure they even have the capacity to do that, but so far so good. And they are targeting criminals. And, you know, there was one of the criminals that was deported to Colombia had killed a 19-year-old woman. So you can have, you know, AOC and the rest of them whining about higher coffee prices, which never happened because he backed down. But, you know, I think consumers would rather pay 50 cents more at Starbucks and have fewer rapists and murderers in the country. So
if only we could do the same, because when we try and deport people, all we get is the Human Rights Brigade going, oh, but he's got a right to a family life, he's got a cat that he likes, and he's got, you know,
and we get that in
a
America
transgender
too.
Child. You know, it's unbelievable. Now, the internet being what it is, of course, we've also got a bit of a parody of Selena Gomez for you. Have a look at this.
Guys, I'm sorry, but all my people are getting attacked. All of the innocent rapists and murderers and criminals and drug dealers are getting rounded up and just kicked out of this country like they're objects. I'm sorry.
I mean, She's never going to live this down, is she?
No, I think it might be the end of her. It'd be a shame. I don't even know who she is. But it really is amusing to see the radical progressive left freaking out.
Yeah.
You know, 9 senators, I won't name them because it won't mean anything here, but 9 senators voted against the Laken Riley Act, which was named after the nursing student who was killed by an illegal migrant criminal, Venezuelan. And they basically the law is that illegal migrants who commit crimes, even lower, not even homicide, but even lesser crimes, will be deported.
Yeah.
And it was named after Laken Riley quite deliberately. 9 senators and a bunch of congressmen voted against it.
And so many of them as well at the time were saying, well, this is going to be very difficult, he won't be able to do it. But he's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there are people getting put on planes, the planes are taking off, and they're landing in the countries they came from.
Is it expensive? Sure. But not as expensive as housing migrants in hotels and giving them debit cards and mobile phones.
Our situation,
and food.
I mean, this is why I'm hoping that if Keir Starmer's got any brains about him, he will see that it can be done. And you can actually remove people and take them back from whence they came.
Right.
You know, and we should be able to take a lead from Donald Trump. Whether we will or not is another matter. But you know, we don't perhaps have the power that America has. But nevertheless,
but it's a shame because I think it would be good for the country, but it would actually be good for the Labor government.
Yeah, it would.
You know,
it would be very good for the country. We would save
a little bit,
and we would save an awful lot of money. They finally had a conversation. There was a lot of talk last week that Donald Trump was kind of toying with Keir Starmer. I think he was.
Yeah.
And he didn't call him straight away deliberately, I believe. But he finally called him on Sunday. They supposedly had a 45-minute chat, but somebody said to me about 40 minutes of that he was on hold. You know, so I don't know if they had a 45-minute chat.
It's funny. Yeah, look, I think President Trump really likes the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And so he'll reach out in spite of Keir Starmer and the politics.
He loves the royal family, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He chatted with Prince William in Paris.
Yeah.
And he's reached out before. So I think, great relationship with King Charles. I think the president wants to do business with the UK. He wants to keep that relationship in spite of the political opposition or differences.
And the things that have been said by almost all members of the Labour cabinet, which have been
doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
I don't think it will be permanent or debilitating. It doesn't help, but I think he'll get
through it. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's proving himself to be a very seasoned politician now, isn't he, Donald Trump? I mean, he's a very different guy than the guy who got in 2016.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And so, when do you think there'll be a meeting of the two then? Because obviously, the state visit, if it comes, will be much later in the year, if not next year. If there's a Trump-Starmer little summit somewhere in Washington D.C. or maybe down at Mar-a-Lago, could it be? I mean, what's his kind of schedule look like?
Well, he's totally jammed right now. With the executive orders, as I said, he really hit the ground running. It's great to see. Now comes the hard part. It's working with Congress to get bills passed, and especially the tax cuts extended. They're due to expire at the end of the year. That would be catastrophic for the economy, catastrophic for the world, quite frankly. So that's going to be tough with the slim majority they have. So that's I think the hard work starts now.
Yeah, okay. And the big story overnight as well is this China DeepSeek situation, where something like $1 trillion has been wiped off the stock market. Nvidia, which I'd never heard of before, lost $550 billion. I'm sure you'll know more about this than me. It was the world's most valuable public company. It isn't anymore. They've created this AI chatbot effectively for $6 million, compared to something like anything between 100 million and $1 billion in the States.
I think many of those companies were due for a slight correction. I don't believe anything that comes out of China, first of all, and secondly, Nvidia was up tenfold in the last 2 years. So a 14% drop is not that big a deal when you're up 1,000%.
Sure. So it's still doing okay, in other words.
I think it was a little overdone yesterday, a little bit of panic in the market. I think it's just a sign of long-term investment.
The other question, of course, is if you're going to use AI, do you want to use AI coming from a country which is not entirely truthful about what's being fed into that AI machine?
Exactly.
So
I'm very suspicious about all the news yesterday. And you're going to see continued investment in the sector. Microsoft's building Facebook, I think, or Microsoft, forget, is building an $80 billion data center. This half the size of Manhattan. It's
incredible.
Crazy.
It is. They'll need a lot of electricity for that. Don't call Ed Miliband. It would be my advice. Greg, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Greg Swenson, Chair of Republicans Overseas.